Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into something called K19. Now, if you're a project controller, this is a must-know. And we're going to break it all down by following an apprentice named Jody on her mission to get this stuff figured out for her final assessment.
So, this is Jody. And yeah, this probably sounds pretty familiar, right? K19, ITTs, bid responses. It can all feel like this giant, confusing cloud of jargon. But stick with us, because we're about to make this whole abstract thing crystal clear and, honestly, a lot less scary.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're gonna follow Jody's quest as she goes from confused to confident. We'll start with the challenge itself, then look at how you build a winning pitch, how you prove you did your part, and finally how to absolutely nail that final assessment. Let's do this.
So our story kicks off with Jody going to her mentor, Adam. She's basically saying, "Help! I know I need to get K19, but where do I even begin?" It's that feeling of just not knowing the first step.
So what does Adam do? He keeps it simple. He uses this fantastic analogy that Jody, who works at IB Stores, gets immediately. He says, imagine a huge brand wants to put a mini shop inside our stores. The document they send us, the one that says what they want, how it should work, all the details, that's the invitation to tender, the ITT. And our plan back to them, how we're gonna do it, what it'll cost, when it'll be ready, that's our bid response. See? It's really that simple.
But here's the kicker, and this is so important to level 6. Adam tells her this isn't just about paperwork, it's about looking into a crystal ball. Every decision you make in that bid document directly shapes the future of the project. If you mess it up now, you're basically setting up the delivery team to fail later. It's all about connecting what you're writing today to what's going to happen in the real world tomorrow.
All right, so Jody gets the what, but the next big question is always the how, right? Like, okay, I get the concept, but what do I actually do? So now Adam's ready to show her how a project controller gets their hands dirty and helps build that winning pitch.
And this is the question, isn't it? The one every apprentice is thinking. How do my skills, scheduling, costs, risks, how do they even apply when the project isn't even a real thing yet? Well, Adam doesn't give her a boring lecture. He gives her a super simple 4-step checklist.
And here it is, Adam's playbook. Step 1, you put on your detective hat. You dig through that ITT to find every little detail the client wants. Step 2, you're the reality check. You work with the estimators to make sure the costs and timelines aren't just wishful thinking. Step 3, you're a fortune teller. You're looking for all the things that could go wrong down the line. And finally, step 4, you're the project's lawyer. You write down every single assumption so there are no surprises later.
Now this right here, this is absolutely crucial. Adam tells Jody that her biggest value is being the person who bravely asks the tough questions. Are we sure we can do it that fast, or what's our backup plan if this doesn't work? It's not about being negative. It's about being a pro who stops problems before they even start.
So what are the stakes here? Well, they're huge. Get this right, and the project ticks off on solid ground. The client knows what to expect, you protect your company's money and its reputation. Really, a great bid is the foundation for a successful project. A bad one? Well, that's just a blueprint for chaos.
Okay, let's take a breath. Jody's feeling good. She gets the what and the how. But wait, a new challenge emerges. How does she actually prove all of this for her apprenticeship? This is where her coach Olivia steps in to talk about the all-important task of creating evidence for Aptum.
And Olivia makes a point that is so important for any apprentice. It's awesome that you understand it all in your head, but for your qualification, the assessor can only grade what they can see. So documenting your work isn't some boring admin task. It's literally half the job.
Okay, check this out. Olivia lays it out perfectly with this do this, not that guide. See, weak evidence is just uploading a document. Strong evidence is uploading that same document, but with your thoughts, your analysis, your commentary attached. The secret sauce is showing your fingerprints all over it. You've got to prove it was you doing the thinking.
To make it foolproof, Olivia basically gives Jody a recipe for perfect evidence. She says every piece of evidence needs to tell a story in 4 parts. First, what was the situation? Second, what exactly did you do? Third, what problems or assumptions did you spot? And finally, how did your actions make things better? If you follow that, your evidence is going to be rock solid.
All right, we're on the home stretch, the final stage of Jody's quest. She's got the theory, she knows how to apply it, and she knows how to prove it. Now it's time for the final boss, the professional discussion in her endpoint assessment, the EPA, and Olivia is there to get her prepped.
So Olivia goes into full-on assessor mode. She doesn't just talk about the EPA, she role-plays it.
She hits Jody with this classic question. And it's a clever one because it forces you to connect the dots between what happens at the very beginning of a project and what happens during delivery. It's a true test of understanding.
And let's just break down this model answer because it's brilliant. First, she gives a super clear, direct answer to the question. Then she gives a dead simple real-world example. And she finishes by talking about her role and her responsibility. It's confident, it's concise, it's perfect.
Okay, next up is the prove it question. Olivia asks for a specific story. This isn't about theory anymore. The assessor wants to hear about a time you actually did something that made a difference. They want a real example from your own experience.
Whoa. Okay, now this is a gold standard answer. Why? Look at the words she uses. I challenged. That's proactive, not passive. Documenting key assumptions. That's a clear professional action. And the best part? She links it directly to an amazing result. Reduced our delivery risk. That's how you get top marks. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this right here. You have to complete the circle. It's never enough just to say, I did a thing. You have to say, I did a thing, and because of that, this good thing happened. You have to connect the dots between your actions and the project's success.
And that's Jody's journey. She went from feeling completely lost in an abstract concept to being totally prepped and confident for her assessment. She got the map from her mentor and her coach. So we're going to leave you with the same thought. You have the map now too. What's your first step going to be?